Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. I invest a little different than a lot of people. I don't put a lot of emphasis on past performance. I prefer to look into the future and say, how is the future going to change and how is the world going to be changed to make me a better place to live? And what are the catalysts of change and what companies are going to recognize that change, adapt to it, and make a lot of money? And I want to invest in them. That's my privilege. I can take ownership in public companies. And so I want to invest in them and profit off of their adaptation to change. Well, I think the coronavirus has caused us to wake up to some very needed changes in our society, in our economy, and change is going to result. And I want to discuss how that change is going to affect the manufacturing climate of the United States. And I want to talk to you about my shoes. So stick with me. This is going to be an interesting video.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
I've recognized over the last couple of weeks that the coronavirus has pointed out that our supply chain is broken. And that is to say that we are very dependent on foreign countries to provide us with the things that we need in our everyday life. This became very apparent as the coronavirus took off and we didn't have any PPE. It even became even more prevalent when we recognized we didn't have any respirators. They were all made in foreign countries. It then came to the forefront that we didn't have many of the antibodies that we needed, and most of our pharmaceutical drugs and the parts that we need in them are manufactured in China. So our supply chain was broken. And I know why it was broken. It's broken because they have cheap labor. And we, over the last 30 years, have basically said we would rather have cheaper shoes than shoes made in the United States. So we gave up the manufacturing of Nike shoes, and Nike took all their plants over into foreign countries. And that has all been okay, except when it came to our attention that we are in jeopardy of not being able to have any shoes in the future if we should get crossways with some of the countries in the Far East. Then I was watching a YouTube video by the Wall Street Journal in which a gentleman was interviewing a CEO of a major manufacturing company in China. And he was pointing out, and the CEO verified, that they were basically laying off most of their people. And they were at this point 80% non-human workers, and they were using robots. And the gentleman said, well, why is that? And he said, well, the cost of labor in China has gone up threefold over the last 10 years, and the cost of labor is just not there. So we are buying robots to do what the humans did, and that will make us more competitive because we'll have cheaper prices. Okay. And then he went on to say where he was buying his robots, which I took note of. And I got to thinking, what is the difference if my running shoes are made in China or Birmingham, Alabama, if they're made by robots? And would I, as a citizen of the United States, be better off if they were made in Birmingham, Alabama, than they were made in Wunan, China? Yeah, I think so. I think my fellow citizens would have jobs. I think some of the old steel factory property in Fairfield that is sitting empty could be turned into a Nike factory or an Puma factory or whatever. And those shoes could be made by the same robots that would be making them in China, they could be made in Birmingham. The difference is the tax dollars, the dollars that were spent for the employees that needed to manage and maintain the robots would be spent in the United States, and so there would be taxes there. The cities would gain real estate taxes. There's a whole lot of benefit. It wouldn't put 5,000 people to work in a factory that maybe where people were doing this by hand, but it may put 500 people to work who were trained and educated to maintain those robots, to sweep the floors of the factory, to bring the materials that the robots needed to work to them. I don't know. But it just didn't make any sense to me that this gentleman made the comment as the CEO of a major manufacturing company in China that we're going to reduce our costs by not using human beings in our plants and using robots, and then we're going to pack those products up in boxes and then put them in containers and put them on a ship and ship them to Los Angeles, where they'll be put on a truck and distributed to Birmingham, Alabama. That just didn't make any sense to me. And I don't think I'm alone in that. So what I'm saying as an investor, I'm not going to build the shoe factory, and I'm probably not going to buy Nike stock because they're already valued quite well. What I want to buy is the robotic stock that are going to make these shoes in the future. These are my dress-up shoes. I just got these for Christmas. So, with that in mind, I believe robotics are going to take off. Now, we've talked about robotics for a long time, for probably the last 5-10 years, and they just haven't gone up. The stocks haven't. They've waffled back and forth, but they haven't taken off like many tech stocks have. And that's because we haven't adopted robots into our factories like China is going to. So I then took my time and said, okay, let's look and see who are some of the big players in this. And the first one, and one of my tribe sent me some videos on Boston Dynamics, and if you they have a dog and two people and some huge dinosaur type robotic dancing to some music. Look up Boston Dynamics, and I thought, wow, that's a company I probably should investigate, and I did, and I found that it's owned by SoftBank. But wait, then I found an article that said they were just purchased for something like $10 billion by Hyundai. Yeah, the car company, because we have a Hyundai plant down in Montgomery, and I've seen videos of the inside of it, and those cars are made by robots. But Hyundai wants to expand their robot business, certainly for the car business, but also they want to be a supplier of robots. So they are being bought by Hyundai. And Hyundai sells for about $43. Then I found a company by the name of iRobot. I was familiar with that. Shannon, many years ago, had a vacuum cleaner in her house that just ran around by itself and vacuumed the house. And then I had a real estate client who told me he had an iRobot lawnmower that he just programmed to come out of his garage every Wednesday and go cut his grass. So I know something about them. Then I found a company by the name of Stryker, and they're in the medical business, and they explain that it's much more efficient and to have a knee formed by a robot or installed, as far as that goes, by a robot. And my cousin Sandy would attest to that. She's having a hell of a time recovering from a knee operation. And then The next one that leaped out to me was Amazon robotics. Well, of course, Amazon's in the business to convert their distribution centers from people run to robotic run. So Amazon is a good investment there. And then there's Intuitive Surgical. That's an $818 stock, up 28% this year. And then the one that the Chinese CEO is buying all his robots from is Yaskawa, Yaskawa, on the NASDAQ exchange under YASKY. YASKY. So I'm not real comfortable at this point. I like the looks of Boston Dynamics, and I like the looks of Yaskawa, which I will probably buy this week. But then I got to thinking, I'll bet within the 100,000 subscribers that we're getting close to on this YouTube channel, I'll bet there's some people out there that know more about this than I do. I'll just bet they do. So what I'm asking you, if you are one of those that know a lot about robotics and have an opinion on this, share it with me. Share it with us. Share it with the tribe. What's the tribe all about? Well, you go to bestofusinvestors.com and give me your name and your email address, and then I'll send you a welcome letter to our tribe. And in that welcome letter, there will be a link to our Discord. Now, at our Discord, you're going to find a channel that is about robotics. And that's where I would like to ask you, if you know something about robotics and you want to share it with us, and you want to, or if you want to learn more about robotics, you can come there and read what other people are saying, and we can collectively get out in front of this. Because again, I think it's important to recognize this is going to happen. Our supply chain is broken. And yeah, that might make it inconvenient for me to get my shoes, but what if we get another pandemic and we don't have the ability to take care of our needs? What if we should go to war over something, or what if we should have a terrorist attack? And it threatens our country, and we need to produce things, shoes, PPE, respirators in our own country rather than depend on others. I think this is going to become a priority in 2021, which makes it an investment opportunity for you in 2021 and in the future. They aren't going to build the shoe factory in 1 year. It'll take a while. I'm watching them tear down one of our old shopping centers and build a new Amazon distribution center. And just 3 blocks away, they're building an office building. I'm betting that's going to be for Amazon's employees. And luckily, I have a real estate development just 3 miles away from it. So we're expecting some good things. That's how I approach investing. That's how I want you to approach investing. I have 3 objectives for you as a member of our tribe. Make good investment decisions. This is a good investment decision, not the shoes, the robotics. We're going to talk tomorrow about 3D printing. Keep more of what you make. Understand the tax code so that you hold your assets in the right form such that you don't pay unnecessary taxes. And then 3, build family wealth. If you can get a gig and produce some side income that you can pump into this stock market is going to explode. Certain companies are going to go crazy. Their values are going to hit new exponential growth, and you can get very wealthy. But you got to know what you're doing. You got to educate yourself. Go to bestofusinvestors.com and go to our library. In that library, I will tell you about the books that I believe are the books you need to read in order to educate yourself so that you can see, you can connect the dots and say, corona crisis, blockchain broken, supply chain broken, robotics, 3D printing, artificial intelligence, big tech, big data. That's where I need to be. Which are the companies that I need to be in? Now come to a collective of people who have similar interests as you, best of us investors, looking into the future, not worrying about the past, not worrying about charts and graphs, not getting hung up on who the administration is. It doesn't matter who. Now, yeah, Donald wanted to make America great again, but it isn't a want now. It's a need. It's a must do. It has to happen. So as an investor, you need to get in front of that. This is a hurricane coming, okay? And it's going to have some big winds. You need to get in front of it.